Welcome to the Industry Series Dialogue. I am Pragya Mishra and I am heading the Customer Success and Operations Department at Courseplay. Courseplay is a 360-degree employee growth platform. Learning and development, or L&D, is no longer just about employee training. It's transforming into a powerful growth engine that directly fuels a company's success by boosting skills, innovation, and overall business performance. On today's discussion, we will discuss how L&D is becoming the next big growth engine for business. To explore this further, we have Dr. Aman Kapoor, a leading expert in digital healthcare who helps organizations grow through strategic communication, innovative learning, and development. He also has some top-ranking podcasts. Dr. Kapoor is the founder of A-Connects by Dr. Aman Kapoor. He has 20 plus years of experience in healthcare and has also been at the epicenter of education since the beginning of his career. Thank you so much, Dr. Kapoor, for joining us today.
My pleasure, my pleasure. It's always great to be a part of such discussions, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful discussion here.
Same here. Since you and I have a few L&D groups in common, I have been very excited for this special session that we are having today. I'm looking forward to learning a lot from you.
My pleasure. Let's hope I can add a lot of value and we all learn from each other. So I'm also looking to take back some good insights and good, brain light bulb movements in my brain.
Yes, same here. Let's dive right into the first question. What's driving the shift from L&D as support to L&D as a growth driver, in your opinion?
Perfect. So, see, majorly till now, and one of the biggest pain points when I see of any L&D group of any L&D head is that L&D has been till now been seen as a cost center and not as a profit center. It has organizations think that investing in L&D is actually pushing money out rather than getting more income in. What is not realized is that a better functioning organization in many ways, better trained people, better developed teams are more likely to improve the revenue. They are more likely to give you better return on investment. Now, being in healthcare, I'll give an example from healthcare itself only. Now, one of the organizations I was working with, we had developed a multi-tiered learning and development leadership program, which was a 9 months program.
Okay.
And I developed it right from scratch, whether from ranging from training, need analysis to content to delivery and everything. Now, just with the first level, so it was yellow, green, and black belt. So just by the end of yellow belt, we realized that the repeat footfalls had increased by 28%, and there was a 20% increase in the average revenue per patient. Now, what it shows is that the ability of the team to handle the patients in a way that created a better connect, better confidence, improved. So it's not, I always tell people that it's not always about knowing your technical knowledge. So one is your technical knowledge, your hardcore subject knowledge, and that there is no compromise in that. You need to have that.
Right.
The other thing is that being able to have the management skills, the people skills, they matter a lot. Now, when the organizations focus on those, automatically your revenue generation improves. So if you look at revenue generation, if you look at CLV is customer lifetime value. Now, a customer lifetime value will increase only when your customer or your client or your patient, whichever organization industry you're in from, is well taken care of, feels connected, feels like they have got their value for whatever they're investing into it. It's time, money. It's not just money always. So that's one thing that happens, And the other is, if you look at L&D education-led funnels, now a lot of organizations, like I worked with Madhavbag, is developing courses for doctors who are not just in Madhavbag, but outside Madhavbag also.
Oh, great.
Right. So they have got courses wherein doctors could learn how to become a diabetes reversal expert using Madhavbag's methods and etc. Or they have got a fellowship course with the Maharashtra Institute of Health Sciences, MUHS, for which I run the webinars with them. Now, uh, in these are the courses where the doctors outside the organizations are taking part into it. Now, webinar has become a very important tool over here, not just to impart education, but also to get conversions. And through 500 plus webinars that I have done across these organizations, uh, just through the webinars, more than 3 crore revenue has been generated.
Wow.
So 1,000 plus people have joined paid programs of different ranges. So education and learning and development is not just limited to internal customers. One should also look at external customers also. So whether it's your internal customers who are your team, whether it's the external customers who are your paying people who are going to pay you, if you focus at a holistic perspective on all of it, the concept of learning and development as a cost center doesn't exist only. It automatically becomes a revenue generator. It automatically becomes a profit generator, profit multiplier, I would say. Not even profit generator, it's a profit multiplier.
Yeah.
So from the organization's perspective, I think that thought process needs to be changed, and not just from the management, but from the L&D teams themselves also. How can I impact the ROI of the organization? What can I do that can that can show an impact in the management information MIS that is generated? How can I visibly show the impact over there? So L&D person has to don a head, not a hat, not just of a training head, not just of a teacher, but also on the head of a marketeer, because you have to market it well to your internal team and to external team. Also has to don the hat of a salesperson, because you need to be able to understand what the sales needs and understand how to sell it to your internal team also.
Right. Your point is so relatable because my job as the AVP of customer success is to help L&D leaders understand what the ROI is. And I've seen, this point is so relatable because I've seen L&D leaders struggle. They know that they are adding a lot of value to the program and to the entire holistic development of the organization, but they're not able to convey that to the management. So
Right.
if we spread out more word and more reasoning that you just mentioned, it is going to help the L&D department so much. So your point is so valid, and thank you for that. But where do you see the resistance? This actually, because made me think while you were telling me about all of these points, and I was thinking about all the clients that I've interacted with. Where do you think the resistance of this occurs? Where maybe organizations think or they have double thoughts about investing in L&D?
Perfect. So, see, resistance primarily occurs when the management may not be able to see it as a value. So everybody looks at it when we step at a out of our zones. When we look at it from the bird's eye view, from the perspective of the hiring, from the management, they have to manage their top lines and the bottom lines, right? They have to manage the gross revenue and also the bottom line, which is their expenditures, so that the profits are optimized. And a lot of organizations which have got shareholders, they're answerable not just to the management, but they're also answerable to the shareholders.
Yeah.
So they're going to think accordingly. Now, as a strategic communications person, I always say it's less about what you want to say; it's more about what they want to hear.
Yep.
So the real connect, the real connect happens when you are able to bridge that gap. So what L&D people need to, as I said earlier, L&D people need to don a marketeers and a salesperson hat also, because they will have to sell the need and the value to their management. How a certain initiative, whether it is in the form of a course, whether it is in the form of a technology or a platform, or whether it is in the form of anything. I mean, any newer methodology. Investment is not just investment of money; it's investment of time, manpower, time. And let's say if there is a salesperson, the sales managers would generally feel that it is a waste of time sitting in a classroom. Rather, they can be on the field talking to 10 more customers and likely to convert more. What they need to be told is, how is it that this spending couple of hours will help in improving the conversion ratio to the sales managers? What is it that is going to help them achieve their targets better? See, ultimately, um, everything everything and everybody thinks about WIIFM. What is in it for me?
Yeah.
So until and unless you are able to pitch it to them, how are they going to benefit in the form of either revenue generation, or in the form of improved loyalty, or in the form of reduced manpower cost, or in the form of anything? I mean, so how are you affecting the top line or the bottom line or the MIS of the organization? That if you are able to present it in that manner, you will be able to overcome those hurdles.
Right. And another point that I just learned from you is the customer experience, something that you will not be able to understand initially, but maybe with feedback later on. So you are, developing your organization from within by upskilling, by training, but eventually it also matters to the people who are out there, who are taking your services or buying your products. So this makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right when we were about to begin the session, you told me that you have been associated with using AI in healthcare since 2008. And that brings me to my next question. What role does innovation play in healthcare, or in content and delivery and in tech in this
Okay.
shift?
So, if you look at innovation, innovation should not be just for the sake of innovating, right? Just because you want to say something is new, something is better, something is more latest, it cannot be until and unless it is a part of the whole cog. It's a part of the whole gear system. How do you fit it into that? That is the perspective that needs to be developed. How is it that you are able to bring it down and improve the adaptability? How is it that you're going to utilize innovation to improve the connect? How is it that you can utilize innovation to improve I'm not even getting the right word, the stickiness. I mean, stickiness could be the way. Like, for example, you look at YouTube, or you look at Netflix, right? You open YouTube, Netflix, or any OTT app platform. You see hundreds of thumbnails and videos. Do you click on every 100?
No.
What makes you decide that you want to click on a few of those?
Maybe how attractive the thumbnail is, or how many views the video has.
Right. So there has to be something that connects to me, right? Same way, if over a period of time, Netflix learns your preferences and it suggests you the shows accordingly, or YouTube will suggest you the videos accordingly. The algorithm learns, right? So innovation is something that can help you simplify the processes and improve the outcomes. Innovation in content could be uh, instead of having a top-down approach where you're pushing the content from the top and expecting your learners to listen and learn. How about utilizing UGC, user generated content, where you have your learners who are on the field share their case studies, upload it into an LXP platform or an LMS platform where others can see from it. So it improves the relatability, because they think that, yes, this person is in my, is in my situation. This person is going through what I'm going through. So maybe it is going to be more relatable. So how is it that you can utilize innovation in making things easier for people? Innovation is all about making things not just look more beautiful or smarter or jazzy. It's also about how you can make things more easier for people. Why is it that people go to chat GPT today for everything? Is because it makes their life more easier. They don't have to search 10 papers, pages, etc. So AI does the job for them. So innovation is not just for the sake of innovation. Innovation in content development should be to look at how you can improve the engagement, how you can involve them in the process, how you can make it more, two-way flow of communication rather than just bombarding from one side. So AI, yes, definitely adoption of AI into tools which can help give better pathways to the learner, which can showcase to the learners for easy. For example, I mean, I'm doing a course from, University of Illinois on instructional design. Now there is a course and there is an AI component which can help me. I can take the transcript out of it, put into a notebook LM. In that notebook LM, I can generate mind maps. I can generate audio summaries, I can generate video podcasts, video films and all. It helps me understand the concepts much more deeper. So use innovation is important, but don't forget the human psychology and the human behavior of connect when you're using innovation.
Right. So in a way, will I be correct to say that, it's like a carrot and stick approach, where sometimes you push your learners, but sometimes you create mechanisms where you can pull them and, attract them towards learning.
Exactly, exactly. And with time, you'll realize that stick works lesser than carrot.
Correct. 100%.
Because if you force someone to learn something, they will be there, but they'll be somewhere else at the same time. I mean, physically present, but mentally absent.
Yeah, true.
Cameras are off, mics are off, chats are empty, and then suddenly somebody says, "Where are you?" Suddenly the mic will go on. Yes, yes, I think that's a very good idea. That's the only comment that will come.
Yes.
So more than push, how you can utilize, create more of a pull, that's going to be more important.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. But now coming to data, because the next thing that bothers or the L&D professionals are concerned about is how can data and analytics prove L&D's value in growth terms?
Okay. And a very, very important aspect. Uh, Data. So there are multiple. I'll break this down into multiple points over here. Okay. One is data that is utilized for analytics and prediction and etc. The other aspect is collection and quality of that data. A lot of times, uh, and the third aspect which I forgot would be connected data. Now, one data you will get is, okay, how many learners have enrolled in for a certain program, how much time did they spend in, etc. But if you go to deeper analytics, you will realize, if you can get that analytics, okay, how many minutes did they spend, what part did they spend in, were they involved, not involved, or were they interacting, not interacting. So like if you go to YouTube, I was just seeing my YouTube. So I like to talk, as you can, it's evident from what I keep talking right now. So I was just sitting and analyzing my own YouTube channel's data, and I was realizing that there are two videos, right? Almost very similar in length and type, etc. But the revenue generated from both these videos was very drastically different. I mean, one video got 10x the revenue, 10x the engagement as compared to the other one.
Okay.
Which both these videos were of similar type. Now, when I started understanding the data, I realized that clicks per million, how much do they pay for clicks per million, which area, which region are the people are viewing, who are viewing it more, what time are the people accessing it more, are they accessing it more morning, evening, how many swipe away, how many stay away. So those things that made me click, and they made me realize that it's not just likes and views that matter, but there is a whole lot of algorithm that goes behind it. Similarly, if you look at an L&D, I always insist on L&D people to think about data like an OTT platform owner would. How engaged are your people? What kind of content do they prefer? Where do they click? On a page, how much time do they spend on that page? Right? Is it that they open the page and then they click next because that is all that they need to do? Right? So that's one area. The other area is your engines should be able to collect unsorted data and give you those trends which can give you between the lines information. See, there are some things which are very visible, and frankly, I did not understand why one of my, I was coming back to that video, I didn't understand why one of my video got 10x the revenue as compared to the other one. So I started chatting with chat gpt. I mean, again, with AI, I love using AI. I started with chat gpt. I started in 2022 December. When it was launched in November, I was started using in December 22. So I chat a lot with it. I mean, I've taken that subscription, and I make sure ki ab paisa bhara hai, Indian mindset, so might as well squeeze it dry. So I was chatting with it, and I pulled on every raw data that I could have. Screenshots, Excels, Google Sheets, everything related to that. And I put those things, I fed it to ChatGPT, and then I started talking to it. Right? I had a audio conversation with it. I said, why is this happening? Look into this data in a way that I would not be able to see it. And then it threw to me that, the geographical reach, the clicks per million, the revenue per million in this geography is going to be better than this geography. So now you have to think about your content in a manner who is going to engage more, prepare your content accordingly. So that insights blew me off.
Yeah.
Now that is where AI comes into picture, especially with respect to data. It understanding the data, and if an organization is large, spread across multiple geographies, multiple domains, multiple levels of team, the data should be able to help us pinpoint those geographical variations, hierarchical variations, regional variations. I mean, regional geographical is the same. So the data should be able to give us tell us that, okay, this area would need this kind of intervention, but in this manner. Okay,
Makes
so
sense.
so maybe going to let's say going to Gujarat, I would need to have this kind of presentation because that's how they prefer more. That kind of content they engage more with. Or if I go to West Bengal, the other end of horizontal end of India, people engage more into content like this, and that's why this should be given more. The second thing is the third thing that I mentioned about is connectedness of data. Now, as an L&D person, you should be able to analyze the sales data. You should be able to analyze the marketing data because that gives you the pain areas of the organization. So if your L&D data is not matching the data of your sales, is not matching the data of your marketing, or is not able to feed into that, then you are missing a big point over there. You're missing a lot of big picture over there. So as a L&D professional, if you're looking at data and you're looking at systems that can understand data, it is not just L&D data and it's not just analysis. It is about correlating your data with sales data, with marketing data also. Hey, how is it that pardon me?
To eventually get the value, right, of the L&D initiatives, if I am able to connect the data, do you mean that by correlating this data to different departments in an organization, I will be able to better understand how my initiatives are playing? Is that correct?
Yes. That also, and also I will be able to understand where I need to take more initiatives.
Right.
So it is not just after analysis, it's also pre-analysis. It's also like the needs analysis, because if I see a certain trend coming from my sales data, let's say, for example, a healthcare organization, right? And healthcare organization treats diabetic patients, heart patients, it treats thyroid patients, it treats, let's say, XYZ patients, right? So that data I have. Now, if my sales data talks to me and says that in XYZ region, let's say in west region of so and so state and so city, I see the revenue is high, but overall the conversion ratios or the skew of the patient conversions is more towards one disease, less towards the another. Right now, as an L&D person, I should be able to understand that, okay, what is that area? How do I impact that? How do I customize my training and analysis for that region to find out what exactly is the pain point of that particular region, and then build my training initiative? So it's not that one size fits all. Your data will also help you customize your training initiatives based on the geography, people, age, preferences, education levels, etc., etc.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So what I understood from the entire point is that in data and analytics, nothing happens by chance, because there is a backup of everything that is happening in L&D. Am I right to say that?
Absolutely. You should, and if it is not, if you don't have a backup, then there is a question that you need to think, are you having the right kind of systems in place? So it's not good to just say that I have done this and it felt wow. You should have something to back you up. And that comes back to the first question. Why do the managements not want to invest?
Yeah. Now we've been able to correlate these 2 points. Now, in your experience, Dr. Kapoor, I'm sure you have a lot of success stories, but I'd like to hear a few success stories that show L&D as a true business accelerator.
Okay. Beautiful question. So coming to this webinars. So I mentioned about webinars. So I've done about 500 plus webinars, uh, right? Including the technology, the automation systems, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So much so that in Madhabag, we had set up a proper webinar studio, right, with the studio lights and the backdrops and everything. Now, the initiative that we took was to take the education route. How is it that we can develop courses for the doctors? That's one area. And for the patients, how is it that the patients who is a diabetic or patient who is a heart patient, how do they really know that what is going to be done with them? What is this treatment really going to help them? They have their fears, they have their pains, etc. So we sat down and we developed multiple webinar funnels. Okay, these webinar funnels we developed based on the based on the end goal that we were looking at. So whether it's a diabetic patient, so you developed a different webinar funnel. When you looked at a heart patient, we developed a different webinar funnel. Now, these webinars were not pushy sales webinars. They started with educating. We took education route, educating the patients, giving them training of how actually diabetes works, what are the problems. We had two people. I would do the hosting. We had the subject matter expert, and then we would have live questionnaire where you use behavioral psychology to get interaction. So there is in sales there's this concept called as spin selling. Okay, spin selling is an acronym for SPIN: situational, problem, implication, and need payoff. So that's the kind of questions that you ask when you're doing a high value consultation, right? So where you are looking at a bigger value consultation. Now, if you bring this down to healthcare, for a patient who is a heart patient or a diabetic patient, every consultation is a high value consultation because it's his or her life that matters over there.
Yeah.
So how is it that you utilize this? How is it that you questions? How do you make sure that you get their fears out, etc. So we utilize those methodologies into our way of communicating with them. How is it that you are able to show value to them, etc. And through that, as I mentioned, we got more than 1,000 plus signees. Um, we generated 3 crore plus revenues through the webinars itself only. And for the fellowship courses now that Madhabag has with the Maharashtrian Institute of Health Sciences, uh, the webinars that I did with them, the courses are expensive. They are like 1 lakh plus in the fees. But through the webinars, 85 plus people enrolled over the period of 2.5 years. So those itself generated 1 crore plus revenue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where, in my experience, we utilization of education to generate revenue. Or if I go back still further, the second example I could give was when I was working in dental industry with 3M. I was working as a professional services specialist in 3M, and 4 states, the whole West was under me for that. And luckily through them, I could lecture in 40 plus cities across India. So when we would do workshops, they would be education-led workshops about how to hands-on experience about this training technique that can give you better results or reduce your failures or give you better smile design for your patient, better output for your patient. So doctors would join in for this hands-on program. In these hands-on program, in the education, I would talk more about not about the product, but about the technique and what does that technique need to become successful. And when that would end, when the lecture or workshop would end, the salespeople would pitch in and tell that, sir, exactly, doctor, what you want in to perform that. This is the material that will give you everything.
Okay.
So we have, even in a tier 3 city where you would not expect sales to happen, there have been record sales that have happened because we did not talk about, we did not push sales. We used education as a medium to reach out to the end consumer, help them understand how they will get value, how things will become easier, how to utilize something, and that's how it generated into sales at the end of it. So that's a revenue generator. And so these are
Yeah,
some off the head examples that I can give you.
that's a brilliant example, because you are actually spreading information. You're educating your audience, which is ultimately leading to, you can say, revenue or ROI or sales. But I think the intention or the first step towards is about spreading information.
Right.
And that's an amazing way to take up this.
So even if you look at, now this is external customers, but even if you look at internal
Hmm.
customers, if I am looking at my sales team, every company takes efforts to teach the sales team the key aspects, the features, the benefits, and everything. But if your sales team is able to do a hands-on, if your sales team knows the psychology aspects, if the sales team knows the counseling techniques, how to talk to a doctor, what should you present it as, it is going to help them close better deals more efficiently, rather than just go and take something with them and say that, okay, my product has this. That's not going to really cut on the long run.
Yeah, I think you discussed about a mini revolution, uh, about linking education with L&D and then connecting the several departments of any organization. And this actually brings me to my last question, which is, how do you think L&D leaders champion this? I would actually like to call this a revolution. This revolution in the shift of organizations' mindset for L&D.
Okay. So for any change, any disruption to occur, you need to first identify the key pain points. Start with the pain. And it's not just the training need analysis that I'm talking about. It is pain analysis of your organization. Know what areas they are suffering through. What are the on-field pain points? Talk to people, interview people, go on the field, go visit your salespeople or frontline people, go along with them. If you're in a hospital, sit with your frontline people who are talking to patients, or your nurses, or your physiotherapists, or your attendants, or your doctors. Meet them, understand their pain, and then at the same time understand the pain of the organization. What are the pain points? One of the areas, I think in one of the groups we are there common, somebody mentioned, talk to the CFO. The chief finance officer of the company will tell you where the real pain is, where the financial pinch is. So that's the first step, because once you have everything in place, once you have the whole data in place, then you can start putting the picture in place. Then you can start structurizing your strategy. Then you can start putting your tools in place. Then you can start putting the methodologies, the content strategies, contents, etc., to give you an end result. You can then develop a roadmap. So if you want to really overcome any hesitation or from your organization, or if you want to champion this, you want to make this happen, start with WIIFM and WHY. What is in it for them, and why should they do it? If you can answer that why, and it's not a why that you want, it's a why that they really feel that that's the why they should be. So then this can definitely happen.
Yeah, this is so basic, because uh, people fail to sometimes look at the small details, because it has such a bigger impact. So this point again is something that organizations can really learn from. In fact, I had read a book where it spoke about the CEO of Airbnb, where
Wow.
all they did was they went and took direct feedback from their customers and they
Perfect.
worked on it. And that's how it became such a successful company and an
Right.
organization. So
Right.
your point is actually very important for all the leaders out there to just look at the small details, take feedback, speak to their frontline workers, and gather all the information and then create a roadmap.
Right. And I'll take a minute of more of your time. I'll give this example. There are two people. There is a well, right? The well is painted on the inner walls red and the outer walls blue. There's one person standing inside the well, one person standing outside the well. The person standing inside the well says the red is painted red. The well
Hmm.
is painted red. The person outside says the well is painted blue. Only the person who seeing from a height, from the top, knows the real picture, that one side is red, the other side is blue.
Yeah. Just shows the importance of the bigger picture and being
Yes.
able to.
Yes. So
Brilliant.
zoom out and zoom in when needed, but zoom out and see and then zoom it once you have got the bigger picture.
I think that's the mantra for L&D leaders. Zoom out when needed and then zoom in from time to time.
Right.
Brilliant. I've had a lovely time speaking to you, Dr. Kapoor. I don't want this conversation to end, but unfortunately, we'll have to wrap this up.
True,
Thank you
true.
so much for your time.
It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for inviting me over here. And I can, as you said, I can talk hours on end, but I don't want our viewers to fall asleep, hearing me drone on. But it's been a pleasure being over here. And learning and development is a very important part of any organization, and not just for the fact of training people. And the more we connect, the more industry leaders like Courseplay take this initiative of bringing people, different mindsets together, the better we can create this impact in the longer run.
Thank you so much for all your valuable inputs today.
Thank you. Thank you.